Welcome to the To Be Human podcast, episode 44 on brain or the brain. Probably call it the brain, but talking about the brain today. The thing that kind of makes us who we are. Talking about different things of the brain. Mainly today I want to go into logical side, as I've already talked about sort of other parts of the brain like emotions and the duality of humanity, like the duality of our own brains, so it's mainly going to be the third thing I'll focus into, since I've already covered the other two things, but I'm gonna, quickly reiterate on other things I've already talked about a lot. So, one part of the brain is obviously emotions. Emotions are a key part of us being human. You know, it's better to have emotions, I think, than have no emotion, because to have no joy, surprise, happiness, all that, would suck a lot. Even if you wouldn't have pain and all that, is it really, worth having zero emotions, like being a blank slate? I don't think so. I definitely don't think so. But I've certainly said my piece on emotions before. So, and I want to keep these two bits brief, but still say what I want to say. But yeah, emotions are, key part of our brains. So I think it's better without. I'm not without with than without. Goddamn. And my own brain is constantly not working and saying what I don't want to say. God damn. Like, Jesus Christ, brain, please work with me. God. Yeah. But yeah, I've said, my piece about emotions before. And then the other thing that I've already said, my piece before about just, duality of humanity. And again, we both have a good and a bad side. Like, we both have the capacity to do incredible things, but also very horrible things as people. And that's all, made by, the decisions of our brains or ourselves, So yeah, our brains are us. So yeah, but I guess today key one I technically haven't delved deeper into, because and that there's always something I want to try and delve deeper into. Today, I guess it is, logic for the brain. Decisions, choice, always a key part of life. Like, choices are, I don't know, and how, our brain comes to that decision, the logic that goes into it. Since I want to talk about the brain, I guess aspects of the brain, this is just the easiest thing to do for more in-depth things. So when it comes to logic or choices or whatever with the brain, like, usually you're going to make a choice based off past experience. You're probably not going to, make the same choice again and again and again, because if that choice ends up ending up in the same result, at that point it's just, you're not going to get anywhere and not really do anything. So usually you're gonna, vary up your choices throughout time, and choices will be made based on, past experience and past things, which would, determine, said logic of the brain. But to be completely logical forever, it isn't going to happen. Occasionally, you're going to make choices on other things other than just logic and emotions. Play a key thing in things, and also, I guess, what side of the coin you're on, like, trying to be good or horrible with, duality of, humanity stuff. But yeah, our brain is a critical piece of us because it is us in a way, in many ways. It is our being. Unless our being is also stored in a soul, but who knows if souls exist? We can only really theorize of souls and all that. What happens beyond once our body and our brains die, like, if our, cells continue through some soul. So, yeah, like, who knows if we do continue beyond death of our body. But I've, talked about death as well on this podcast. And talked about the different possibilities of the afterlife. So, and try and not tread on what I've already said and done. I, talk about, new things. So yeah, try and go deep onto topics that haven't, talked as deeply about or whatever. But yeah, logic is not a core part of the brain. As not a core part of the brain is that where, flesh instead of like some, like, AI brain, like my created through biology instead of, circuits and wires and stuff, different connections and like things. So yeah, that's another key part of our brain for us as humans. Yeah, and to be human, but can you be human with, if it ever happens like cyber like augments, like augmentations, like basically being a cyborg, like what, defines, human as human, like would augments make us non-human? Is, something that's, will always probably be debated, especially in once it becomes a reality, if it becomes a reality, but still, once it becomes reality, it'd definitely be something of, debate, how much, human stuff is needed to be human compared to like a robot. Like if it's 100%, that's probably definitely, a robot. Even if it can, at that point in, the future when AI might actually be like humans, could be like a human, it's still kind of a robot. But maybe, some people could see as, human, like if you really connected to it. And I probably, see a robot as human if I, actually connected with it on a deeper level and it was the actual full-on AI. But anyway, back to how much of the you that like would have to be a human to classify as quote unquote human, like well, I guess that's, up to a lot of like subjectivity, because even if like 1% of it was, human mass, like the only thing left was like a small piece of the brain or something, like would that still be human? I guess if a full-on robot AI can be human, I guess even that could still technically be human. Like, even if something that was, never born can be human, then, or like, be considered a human by at least some people, like, I guess even, something that's only like 1%, like, could still be human. So yeah, because words always flexible to change, like words, get different meanings over time. Like, look at the word slay, for example. It could mean, the traditional, like slay the beast, kill, murder that creature. Or it could be the modern, slay, like, that's so slay, that's, so epic, essentially what it means. Like, words can gain new meanings through time, so what is human can change. So, like, in the future, the line between human and robots will be a lot more fuzzy and blurred, and maybe there won't be robots as a term anymore. Or it could be, like human in a way. But yeah, it's, yeah. Either way, it's all up to, you know, subjectivity. But I've now veered off talking about the brain a bit too much, even though that was a semi-relevant tangent. But yeah, still, begs the question of how much of the brain needs to be, human, and what if, for some reason, humans decide to, add, like, animal brains into the concoction of our brain. Like some scientists are like, well, this part of, like, this animal brain could be useful for us if we could incorporate it into our own brain, because then if we had these same sort of things, we could have heightened hearing, heightened smell, heightened whatever from these different animal brains. Like, that could be a possibility. Like, even though at the moment, with, science, not really allowing, animal experimentation, unless it's like, controlled. It still could be something that could be a potential. You never know what the future holds. You never know how scientists might want to, do things, and how the world will see things in, a couple of decades later, if not centuries, millennia down the track, if we live that long. Like, it'd be, interesting to see what weird things they would do. Like, and what things could be possible in the future. But yeah, brain being changed in more than one way could be a possibility. Could be a potential, because we never know. Only time will tell. But yeah, Uh, either way, yeah. But I guess the key thing, that keeps the brain is, human is if us, the person, still persist, even if our brains change. If our consciousness continues through the changes, there's still sort of a person in there, a human, which, and if our brains change to like a robotic, thing, like with what I was saying before, and if our, mind somehow persists into that body, like, that obviously, further asks the question of if our consciousness transferred over into a robot body, like, does that mean there's a soul? Which seem more than likely at that point if it's actually still a person within that new robot brain, like from, regular flesh to robots, like if it works, it seems more than likely. But then again, maybe there is a way that just transfers over even without a soul, which be, I guess, a marvel of damn science if that's the case. Like, if a human actually really, consciousness goes from meat brain to, robot brain, perfectly, and that there's no souls, like, that'd be a damn marvel of science, like, because if there's no soul, like, there's nothing to technically help that process. So, if the person's still themselves completely in their new male body, like, that's insane. Like, that's a marvel of damn science. Feels like the laws of science are being broken for something like that to happen without something like a soul to exist. So, yeah, it's definitely be interesting to say the least. And if someone were to figure that out, they'd be a damn mega ultra damn genius of science and stuff. Like, they'd be beyond damn Einstein and others. Like, I feel like accomplishments like that be like incredible. The one thing that's, helped like stop proving it from happening is no one would believe that, once a human transfers into a robot completely, like, the person, says, like, I'm still me, I'm still me. Like, people would still be, be questioning, like, is it really them, or is it just that the, robot and AI thinks, it's them because the memories and personality all transfer through somehow, which still is like a, you know, marvel of science, even just on that degree. But, yeah, like, for them to, be saying, like, I'm human, but, you know, the scientists still would have skeptical doubts, and the only way to fully know is to also, transfer fully over, which at that point, it becomes, both easier and harder to tell if it's, all the robots thinking, they're human, or are they actually, the person transfer over from, the brain? So, yeah. It'd be an interesting thing to see unfold, to say the least, like that chaos and confusion of if they're actually the person or not anymore. But either way, it'd be scientifically amazing to transfer a brain and like a regular consciousness from the brain to like a robot's brain, like with nothing else, like as a part of it. Like it'd be amazing. An absolute scientific marvel, whether there's souls or not. Like it'd be a marvel. But yeah. Anyway, there's a lot to the brain. Of possibilities for us as people in our own brains. With the potential future of like cyborgs and augmentation stuff and all that, and other weird possibilities like animal brains being added into our own, and everything that makes us from logic parts of the brain to emotional parts to that duality between good and evil. Like there's so much to brain and so many possibilities, I guess, for the future, because there's still so much unknown, and we won't really know until we're at the future. And even if we get to the future, there's still be questions left, like if that eventuality of brain transference happens, like it still leave us the question of, is it genuine? Is it true? So the only way to find out is to, transfer the brain over, which to some would seem like, death, because your old brain is technically dying for a new brain. So, it'd be fair to, be, scared of, like, transferring a brain over, because it'd be essentially death. It'd be full death of the mind, and I don't think a lot of people would do it. But then again, there'll always be those crazy people that will, do it, or eventually, break and try it out, because, like, the clock of life may run out, and yeah, but yeah. Anyway, now I'm starting to really babble on, get lost in my own head. I think I think I've said my piece on all the stuff of the brain. Like, there's emotion, there's joy, there's logic, there's so much to the brain, so much that we can be, like, so many different things to think about. But yeah, the brain is a key part of us because it is us in a way, at least as far as we know. So yeah, and if there's a soul, I guess that's a part of us too. But yeah, I think I'll do it for this podcast. Otherwise, I'll babble on forever about things. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of interesting possibilities for the future, and so many complexities to our brain. Like our brains are definitely interesting. Like, even with more of our modern understanding of the brain, of like the different areas of how the brain functions, like, there's still so much we don't know about the brain, like, and we might never fully know, because the brain is something that can't just be simply decoded. Like, if it was, mechanical, where, a mechanical brain, even the most complex of code or whatever could be understood by someone, because it was made to be understood, because there's patterns to the codes. Like, there's sort of like inbuilt things that the code of it, and yeah, and I'm now starting to lose my goddamn train of thought. Like, there's a lot to our brain, like, to say the least. So yeah, so yeah, like like a mechanical brain is definitely different to flesh brain. Be a lot easier to decode, a brain of machine than a brain of flesh. And even if we progress, it'd still be very hard. But yeah, I think I'll do it for this To Be Human podcast episode, though. The brain has so much to it, and brain's, fascinating. And yeah, it can be, interesting. It just kind of sucks when brain is half functioning, like my brain, where, I lose train of thought, or, say why didn't want to say, like, so yeah. But yeah, anyway, I think that'll do it for this To Be Human podcast. Until the next episode of podcast, peace and yeah. Thanks for watching.